So this is a review of the Air Zoom Spiridon SP and Fragment Black, and the reason I managed to sort of grab these is just on sale really. I just saw them on Offspring and they were priced at £75, which is very, very low. And even if I don't keep them and get rid of them, you know, it's quite nice to have them in for review. And also the fact that the Spiridon model has grown on me, probably not for a lot of people, and I can understand why, because obviously when you see these, you know, in the pictures, they, you know, look okay, you know, not fantastic I suppose, but it's not until you wear them that you kind of understand what they're about. And these, I think, originally released back in '97 and were the first, you know, sneaker to feature Air Zoom unit. And they came out at the same time around the Air Max 97, as far as I remember. And so these sneakers, you know, are kind of, I suppose, iconic in that respect. And this being the Fragment collab, it's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. And, you know, Fragment are very good at sort of collaborating with Nike and sort of Jordan models, and, you know, Travis Scott as well, to name a few. But this one, I think, like I said, has gone under the radar because of the fact that it's not, I suppose, anything spectacular in terms of its looks. It's quite sort of minimal, and that's usually what Fragment is about, I guess, as well. And maybe the course has run out in terms of, like, you know, the hype for the Fragment collabs in general. But yeah, like I said, this is kind of, in terms of its colorway, it's a black colorway, so it's nothing special. It just says triple black, but you can kind of see it's got metallic hits on the outer of the sneaker as well. This box being a special collab, you know, SP model, you get the Fragment logo around it, but it's generally kind of the Spiridon box with blue on it. And, you know, the sneakers themselves, so what makes this unique is you got the kind of fast lacing system that you see on here, which is similar to, you know, things like the Air Max 95. And then also the main thing, like I said earlier, is you got the Zoom Air unit running underneath the outsole, which is quite unique, and you can kind of see that in here. And I would have thought, because this doesn't have a TPU plate, I did experience a little bit of issues when I first started wearing them, but in all honesty, once I was sort of walking around in them and worn a pair of the metallic silvers that I have, I found them to be fine, and those are picked up for like 50 quid, so, and this one being 75 is a bit of a bargain. And just generally speaking, in terms of like the way, you know, it kind of feels on foot as well, in terms of its like comfortability, it feels like really, I suppose, responsive is kind of the word, which is what you expect from Air Zoom. And also because it sits quite flat, the Air Zoom sometimes I found, like on certain sneakers, especially like the Pegasus, they kind of start to sort of protrude after a while, because the insole sort of wears out. But I like the fact that they're under the bottom and you get more sort of a responsive feel to it, in my opinion. Obviously I'm not sure how the outsole will kind of wear out over time, but I just like the fact that the Air Zoom unit sits on the bottom and gives you a little bit more kind of responsive and kind of pushing you off your foot, but yet the under comfort feeling is quite sort of medium to sort of firm side, I guess, but still sort of squishy enough, I feel. And this being kind of, I guess, in terms of its like construction, I think, you know, the materials on this aren't anything too special. It's still the same sort of mesh material. The only thing that's different is obviously the swoosh on here feels like a leather swoosh, and then you've got sort of quite nice sort of suede material. It's not that I suppose you know, furry or, you know, expensive, but it's still quite nice for a general kind of runner, I suppose. And the outsole, in terms of its traction, it seems fine. I do, you know, think in terms of sort of sizing to go up at least half a size on these, and because of the fact that you'll find that you get a lot of tightness around here, but they kind of sort of wear in over time. But I'll still sort of recommend, you know, pretty much for everyone to go up half size regardless. I went up half size and have a wide foot, but I think, you know, only if you have a really narrow foot, go true to size. And in all honesty, going up half size won't affect you too much anyway. So with the look and style, I mean, like I said, these are sort of simple. They're quite sort of, you know, a simple pair of trainers in terms of how Fragment have done their collaboration. The blue and white pair probably is a little bit more sparkly, I suppose, in terms of its colourway, but they feel more muted than a standard Spiridon in terms of its sort of runner and sort of colourway. And I suppose, you know, for that reason, they're quite got a stealthy look, and I think if you can sort of pick them up on sale, they're very good for, like, you know, especially back to school, because of the tech that you get in there. But also they feel comfortable on foot, and like I said, once you get them on foot, and you'll see the on foot videos, they do actually look really nice. So I definitely feel like, you know, it's kind of gone under the radar this year. They released probably so many of these Spiridons that they've kind of gone on, you know, on sale for like half price or less than half price. So I think, you know, for that kind of price, it's definitely worth it, you know, much so. So with the ratings, I think for this, I you know, think they're okay. Like in terms of the looks, I do like the little fragment, you know, sort of text on there just to kind of sort of say it is, and I do like the white swoosh on the other side. It kind of gives me that sort of CPFM vibes. But what I would say is probably I'd give them a 4. I don't think they're that special compared to say other collabs that you would see. And then also, I suppose in terms of its comfort, I think they are very comfortable on foot, so I think, you know, I'm going to probably give them a 5. I think once I sort of had them and walked around in them, you know, and sort of worn them outside as well, I could see, like, you know, what all the fuss is about, and they are really nice on foot and quite sort of neutral. And in terms of sort of the quality, I think with that one I'll probably go with a 4 as well. I think overall it's fine. It does the job. It's not anything special, especially if you're, you know, paying full price for them. I think, you know, that you'd be kind of asking the second question to, you know, if whether you'll be kind of in two minds on whether you want to buy them or not. But, you know, it's sort of on sale, then, you know, they're definitely kind of worth it in my opinion. And in terms of costs, like I said, 150 quid, 155 for this collab version. They're quite a lot of money for what you get. You know, I think Nike probably like missed the ball in terms of on the pricing on these, and they should have been lower. And then that's kind of why I think for this one, I still probably give these ones a 4 out of 5 really, just because of the cost. And, you know, in terms of quality really, they do look nice, but they're not anything special. The best thing about the Spiridons is probably mostly the comfort, and then, you know, how they look on feet.